Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about raid leading and being a guild leader. So I got a lot of questions from you guys just asking me, how do I become a good raid leader? How do I become a good guild leader and stuff like this? And there's a very specific video that I want you guys to watch before I go more into detail about what I personally do. So let's watch this video together.
Two guys graduated from university together and after a couple of months joined the same company. After 2 years, their manager promoted one of them, Rahul, to the position of a senior sales manager. But the other one, Jiten, remained in the same position as he had joined, a sales officer. Jiten felt hurt, disgruntled, and even felt jealous of Rahul. Since he needed the job, however, he continued working anyways. After a couple of months, Jiten's bitter feelings towards Rahul grew so much that he just could not work with him any longer. He wrote his resignation letter, but before he handed it over to the manager, he complained that the management did not value hard-working staff and that they promoted only the ones they favored. The manager was well aware that Jiten worked very hard for the company, even harder than Rahul, and thus he much deserved the promotion. But something was missing in Jiten. So to help Jiten, the manager gave him a task. Can you go and find out if there's anyone selling watermelons in town? Jiten returned and said, yes, there is a watermelon seller. The manager asked, how much is the selling price per kg? Jiten drove back to the town to find out and then returned to inform the manager that the vendor was selling the melons for 13 rupees and 50 paise per kg. The manager told Jiten, let's give Rahul the same task and see his response. So in the presence of Jiten, the manager said to Rahul, can you please go and find out if anyone is selling watermelons in town? Rahul instantly left, and on his return he reported to the manager, sir, there's only one person selling watermelons in the whole town. The cost is rupees 49 per watermelon and rupees 32 and 50 paise for half a melon. He sells them at rupees 13 and 50 paise per kg when sliced. He has 93 melons in stock. Each one weighs about 7 kgs. His farm can supply us with melons for the next 4 months at a rate of 102 melons per day at 27 rupees per melon, inclusive of delivery charges. The melons are excellent in quality, appear fresh and red, and taste way better than the ones we sold last year. He also owns a slicing machine and is willing to slice for us free of charge. We need to strike a deal with him before 10 a.m. tomorrow. If we do make this deal, we'll surely beat last year's profits in melons by rupees 223, contributing positively to our overall performance, as it will add a minimum of 3.78% to our current overall sales target. I have put all this information down in writing and is available on a spreadsheet. Please let me know if you need it, as I can send it to you in 15 minutes. Jiten was dumbfounded. Impressed by Rahul's smartness and inspired by his commitment, he realized the difference between himself and Rahul. He decided not to resign, but to learn from Rahul. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not what we do, but how we do that makes us different and stand out from others. It's not about doing things, but about going the extra mile that brings us the reward. It's not merely hard work, but smart work that gets us there. It's not about looking at others, but about looking at oneself that brings us excellence. Next time you find someone else doing better than you, don't complain. Put your act together. Do your homework thoroughly. Walk the extra mile. And then maybe fast or slow, success will surely be yours.
And voila, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. I have the link in the description below in case you want to follow this guy's channel. He does a lot of very inspirational speeches such as this, and the things that he say in this video are actually pretty true. It is more about how you handle the situation and how you handle your raid, because the bare minimum, just by becoming a raid lead or a guild leader, is hard work. That is the baseline, that is the bare minimum, and you will need to devote time and effort into managing your guild or managing a raid. However, it's how you manage it is what's gonna determine whether your raid goes smoothly or not. And this is something that I've always emphasized, especially with my raid leads in my guild. It's always been about going that extra mile and understanding why people act the way they do. There's always been a saying that people gravitate towards like-minded people. So, for example, if the raid lead is a very toxic person, then other toxic people are going to join the raid. However, if you're a very positive and very nice person, naturally you'll gravitate all the nice people towards you. And this I strongly believe in. And so it's very important to make sure that the people that join your raid are like-minded people such as yourself, and that you understand their situation, their life situation. People, they might be students, they might have exams coming up. Then you need to understand that, okay, they have exams coming up. Maybe we should postpone this raid. Maybe we should cancel the raid on this day to let them study. Or maybe they're on the other end of the spectrum. They're adults and they're about to have their firstborn child and start up their family. Then if that's going to happen, then you also need to make preparations as the raid lead or the guild lead to make sure that, okay, when this person needs to take care of his family or her family, then obviously you need a replacement if you want the raid to continue, or maybe it's a good time to just pause the raid and resume when everything's sorted out. And it's really up to the raid lead or the guild lead's judgment, because everyone has their own issues. Students are going to have their own problems with their studyings, their grades, their exams. Adults are going to have problems with their work life, business trips, family, etc. And so as raid lead, you really do need to go that extra mile to understand everyone's situation, especially the people in your raid, so that you can make the best judgment on, okay, so on these days we're going to be missing certain players because of XYZ, and then just use your best judgment and try to adapt to the situation. A common example would be Christmas. During Christmas, a lot of people need to spend family time because it's a celebration. And so most likely, most raids are going to be cancelled because you're missing more than half of your raid members. However, you need to make that judgmental call on saying, oh, should we just call off raid? Or do I have another 6 people that I can find from a different raid that we can combine together and still host our raids? And it's a balancing act of understanding what your situation is. And the more experience you have and the more stronger of a raid lead or a guild lead you are, the easier it's going to become to balance things out, to make things go smoothly and make things work out. Another thing that a good raid lead and a good guild lead needs to also take in consideration is if someone's extremely toxic in the guild or in the raid, then you need to understand why are they toxic and try to smoothen that out, try to eliminate the toxicity. However, maybe if that member is a key person, you need to eliminate the toxicity but keep the person. And that is another can of worms, which I can go into more detail in a future video. But that's really it about being a good lead and a bad lead. It really just depends on if you are willing to go that extra mile as a raid lead. There are not many people out there that are willing to become a raid leader because of the sheer amount of work you have to put in. And there is no reward. You don't get much reward out of this. The only reward that you get is really people just acknowledge that, oh, that's your raid. Oh, it goes pretty smoothly. Oh, they do selling runs. Oh, we give credibility to that person. But to be honest, in proportion to the work and the effort that you put in, it's not proportionate at all. So if you do plan to become a raid lead, don't go in expecting that you're going to gain a lot of respect, you're going to gain a lot of this and that. You don't really gain anything. It's more about you giving to the raid. It's a lot of giving and not a lot of taking. So that's one thing that people really need to get into their heads, really need to understand. Becoming a guild leader, becoming a raid leader is a selfless job. You are serving people. People are not serving you. And if you have the mental block, or if you have this reversed, your raid or your guild will not be successful. It's always about whoever's at the top, whoever's the raid lead, whoever's the guild lead. You are the person who are serving everyone underneath. You are never the person who just sits back and makes everyone else do the legwork. It just doesn't work like that. But yeah, hopefully this opened a lot of your eyes, let you guys understand what exactly is involved in becoming a raid lead or a guild leader, and hopefully it helped. If it did, I would appreciate a subscribe, and if you want to go that extra mile, please consider becoming a member. Speaking about members, I'd like to thank Toots McGee, Solar Hero, ST Sin 2, Lina Ren, Dante Sama, and Key for becoming members and supporting my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome?